Okay, here we are back again. I'm going to show you I've got my linoleum cut and fitted and tacked down. I had intended to show you how to do some floor leveling, like this old trailer and probably a lot of other applications. You're going to have holes in the floor, screw holes. In this case, where the two pieces of plywood joined together, at places there was like a 1/4 inch wide gap. Different things like that. You sometimes need to level the floor. And I don't mean with a bubble level. I mean fill in so that you've got as near as possible a flat, consistent surface, especially if you're putting something down like linoleum. If you've watched my car painting videos, it's similar. If you've got holes in the floor, anything significant at least, if you put linoleum over it, over time the linoleum will just kind of sink down into it and you'll end up being able to see all those things, or some of them. And so you want to do something to make the floor as even as you can. And then this old trailer, that took a little bit. Now this is the stuff I was going to use. See, it says it's DAP brand, concrete floor leveler. It's for leveling concrete, masonry, and wood subfloors. Waste of time. I tried it, although it suggests or stipulates, whichever one, that you should use there's a round bottle of additive that's supposed to do something to it. But that stuff is more or less, it's just gray powder. It's got Portland cement in it, and it's more or less like concrete without the gravel. And it seemed like it was going to be okay. I went along my crack and stuff, and in the screw indentations and all that, and filled in over all of it, and I thought it was going to be okay. But when it dried, it was really hard, and when you step on it, it just cracks and comes up in big flakes. And what would have happened if I'd have left that like that and put the linoleum down over it, over time, it would have just cracked up and continued to become finer and finer, and eventually it would have just been powder under there, and it probably would have bunched up in places and made lumps in the linoleum. Waste of time. So I took all that back up, just scratched it up. It was real easy to do. I used a well, I don't see it readily. I used a 3-inch slanted blade putty knife. Just slid under it, and it just came right up in big flakes. So I got that up, and there's another product my brother had used to seal around. This is not a vent pipe, but your vent pipe for your septic system or sewage system, your drain system in your house. You'll have usually a 3 or 4 inch or bigger possibly vent pipe that goes through the roof. And my mom's house, water was seeping in around where that pipe goes through the roof, and my brother knew of this stuff and got it, and it looks like it's pretty soft and fairly fluid, and it's clear, and it sets up once it's exposed to the air. My brother said it hardens. It didn't harden, and that's good. But it was real easy to work it down into the joint between the two sheets of plywood here and everything else. You got to work at it a little bit, get it as smooth as you can. You don't want to leave knife ridges, or if you use a brush to put it on, you don't want to have it uneven. You want it as even as you can get it. And so he had suggested that I use that, and he had some left over, and he gave me that. And once I got started using it, I just didn't stop. I was going to show you how to use that, but if it becomes an issue to anybody, you can always message me, and I'll try to help you out with it. But it's if you know what molasses are, it's about the consistency of molasses. It's pretty thick, but it goes on and it stays soft, semi-soft. And the reason that's good, one reason I think that's good in this travel trailer, I hear neighbors' dogs barking. When you travel with these things, when you move these things around, the body on them twists and turns, and and the floor, especially in an old one, is going to have some flex in it. If you put anything like for leveling, if you use anything that's going to be hard, eventually it's going to crack because it has no give. And I just don't think that's good. So this stuff turned out to be great. Now the company that makes, I don't know if there's anybody else that makes this stuff or not. The brand name is Sashco, S-A-S-H-C-O, Sashco. And the product is called Through the Roof. Yeah, Through, T-H-R-O-U-G-H, the Roof. And odd name, but that's what it's called. And I know Ace Hardware here carries it in gallon paint size cans, and they carry it in tubes. That's not what this is, but they carry it in tubes that you use in a caulking gun. And I'm going to use it around my windows and the door. When I put the door back in, I'm going to use that to seal under them. And then I'll use white silicone window caulk on the outside to make a nice bead. This stuff here, clear, just, it really wouldn't look good, I don't think, and that's just the way I want to do it. So anyway, you can also get it in I threw the container away already, but you can get it in a container, a square plastic container, kind of like this, but it was about twice that size. So you can get it in the gallon paint can size, or the caulk tube size, or this. I don't remember how much this is. The caulk tube size is $8 a tube, and the gallon can, I think, is $60. But I don't need anywhere near that much. And what I had left was a little over half of the square container like this. There was something over half of that left, and that did all of mine. So anyway, that's that's what I did that I maybe should have shown you a little bit of. But yesterday when I decided to get this linoleum in here and get it cut to fit, I was just too desirous of getting it done to stop. So I didn't stop. And then today I came out and pulled it up, worked out some little, some of the little air bubbles under it. Yesterday and today is a little cooler than I would have liked for putting linoleum down. When it's warm, the linoleum will lay flatter, and it's just softer and easier to move around. And you do have to kind of watch, because when it's cold, especially if you get a wrinkle in it and compress that too much, you can crack your linoleum, you know, and that's not good. So anyway, today was still a little cool, but I came out, repositioned it a little bit, and got it tacked down around the edges. And I'm going to show you that now, and show you the linoleum. And by the way, well, you're going to see it down there, but this is a little piece that was left over. I don't know how well you can see this. The light from outside may be coming through it, but that was a pattern I really liked. I got a 6 foot by 9 foot piece. No, 6 foot by 10 foot. A 6 foot by 12 foot piece for $43 from a local guy out here in the country that sells all kinds of stuff. And it was brand new, nice, and I really liked the pattern. So hopefully I can hold this GoPro steady and show you the floor. I'll back up over this way and brace the camera here, and there you can see my linoleum job. I'm really pretty proud of it. It looks real good, and I know you saw the floor in the other videos. I don't know if you can see those shiny tack heads. Maybe you can see them there all around. I just put them about every 6 inches or so around the edges. I've got in that corner back there, I've got to vacuum out a little bit there. I had to cut out some stuff back in there. And so I'm going to work in that corner a little, so I didn't finish tacking it down. And I just tucked it up under. I had about 3 or 4 inches extra under there, and I found that just rolling it back under and pushing it under the cabinet worked real good. It works as a toe kick, so I decided, well, there's no point in cutting that off. I mean, normally you would cut it to fit and put quarter round all the way around the edges like I'll be doing. But in that case, I decided, well, no reason to cut that off. Just leave it curled up under there. That'll keep any water from running that may get on the floor. It'll keep it from running up under there. And there's rough places you can see in that panel in there. I may end up replacing that panel. It just looks like there's 3 screws that holds it to this frame back here. I may replace that. That's deterioration. Probably actually had been damp there and there, and the same thing here, you can see. But now let me get on this end to show you the other end, or the opposite view. And again, I'm real happy with it. Real happy with how it came out. And me, at least, it looks great. It make the trailer a lot nicer. It was a little bit of work, but you know, not a lot of money. Here in that square area there, that's where I've got to build about a 15-inch high platform to set my refrigerator on, and I've got to cover those walls. I'll probably do some more, put some new insulation in there, or more insulation, and then I've got to put paneling of some kind, put something over the wall. This is the way they had done this. This is the regular 110 house current that comes here and goes down to there. That's a outside plug-in. And here there probably was a junction box with plug-ins for the refrigerator, and it just looks to me like somebody eliminated it, and so I've got to put another one of those in and figure out where to mount it. I'll probably, after I get the paneling on, I'll probably put something across here and put a box here to plug the refrigerator into. And I'm going to redo that outside outlet box. Alright, well, we're at almost 17 minutes, and again, I like to keep these at 15 minutes if I can. So I'm going to shut this down, and I'll show you more later on, but this is well along toward being finished. And I'm going to be glad of that. And since the governor of Kentucky has seen fit to issue an executive order telling us that except for certain circumstances or reasons, we can't leave the state.